Paul's focus was this: I want people to follow Christ. There was a group, though, they wanted to win a following of their own. Instead of asking people, have you trusted Christ? This group would be saying, well, who do you side with, us or Paul? We see that in our day and time. Well, who do you side with, MacArthur or Sproul? Well, who do you side with, this camp or that camp? Are you a 5-point Calvinist or this? It doesn't mean that they're unbelievers. It just means that they're off track. Their motives have gone wrong. To be sure, these are important issues of theology, but the main emphasis of Christians who get off track is that their message begins to preach against positions rather than preaching up Christ and preaching down the gospel. So this is the tone that you hear from them. They're always attacking some position rather than just exalting Christ, preaching down the gospel. And yes, that will preach against certain things. But folks who are getting off track in their preaching usually are dominated by criticism rather than being dominated in their presentation of the Lord. Do you hear what I'm saying? I can spot them just like that. All you got to do is listen to him for about 2 or 3 minutes. Paul was not rejoicing in the selfishness of his critics. He was rejoicing in the fact that Christ was being preached. That Christ, the promised one who was sent by the Father to redeem a people for himself, was being preached. That Christ, the promised one who promised to save his people from their sins, was being preached. That Christ, the suffering servant, whose sacrifice and whose obedience would provide an atonement for man's sins, was being preached. He was rejoicing in the fact that Christ, the promised one, who would satisfy the law of God, who suffered in his own body, who took in the wrath of God for himself against man's sins, was being preached. He was rejoicing in that. It did not matter to Paul if some were for him or some were against him. All that mattered was that Christ is preached. That's what mattered to him. Christ is being preached. I love what he says in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 5. He says, we do not preach ourselves, but Christ Jesus as Lord, and ourselves as your bondservants